Yo, what is up, my friends? It's Steve from Straightforward Picks. We got your best bets for the NFL NFC Divisional round between the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions on Saturday, January 18, 2025. We have NFL player props, spreads, totals, and the same game parlay that I think are great bets here for this game between the Commanders and the Lions. Super excited about this one, guys. If y'all are new to the channel here today, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Always appreciate that. We're on the road to 9,000 subscribers. As always, appreciate all of your guys' support. It really does mean the world to me. Make sure you guys drop your favorite pick down below for this game in the comment section. If your pick hits in the video chat, I'll give it a shout out in the video. We didn't have any comment cappers that hit in our last week's series that I saw, so no shout outs this week. So make sure you guys get back after it this week, and let's have a big week for our cappers as well. Make sure you guys check out all of our video links down below: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and also our Discord channel if you guys are interested in that, connecting more with our community and just staying in touch with what we're doing and recaps and stuff like that. So be sure to check out all those links down below. And normally I do a results recap from last week. We did that in our last video for the Texans and the Chiefs, so be sure to check out that video if you guys want to see our recap and see that video as well for our best bets for that game. I'll have that tagged here at the end of this video where you guys can check that out as well. So without further ado, I think it's time to get after it and to get into our picks. What do you guys say? Let's get a 3-0 sweep. We got 3 picks and the same game parlay, so let's get after it today. Let's get right into our picks here, guys. At number 1, we're going with Jahmyr Gibbs, over 83.5 rushing yards here for the Detroit Lions, minus 113 odds on FanDuel. Guys, I'm actually super excited about this play and obviously about this game, but here for Jahmyr Gibbs, we've seen him go over 109 plus rushing yards in each of his last 3 games, so he's been absolutely killing it. Obviously, the absence of David Montgomery has led to a lot of that type of volume for Gibbs. Montgomery is coming back, but expect him to be somewhat limited in his role back. And is he going to be 100%? It's hard to imagine he is with that injured knee. Time will tell. So Gibbs should still get the lion's share of the carries. You guys see what I did there? I didn't even mean to do that, I swear. But Gibbs, guys, still should get the majority of the carries here for the Lions. And if he does, I think he's going to absolutely go off versus this Commanders team. Commanders have not defended the run well at all this season. They've allowed the 4th most rushing yards to running backs on the season. Like I said, we've seen Gibbs go over in actually 5 of his last 7 games. So even when Montgomery is playing, he still has the ability, obviously, to go over, which I think he will in this game. I don't think the Commanders are going to have any answers for Montgomery or him, to be fair. I thought about Montgomery's line, but I'm going to trust Gibbs here. Gibbs is healthy. Expect him to get more of the carries. And I don't think the Commanders, like I said, are going to have any answer for the Lions' running attack. They're going to really struggle. Home starting running backs last week, guys, in the playoffs. If you don't think running backs can run in the playoffs, check last week's stats for the home teams. Lions are at home. Last week's home starting running backs averaged 114 yards per game. James Cook over 100. Saquon Barkley over 100. The list goes on and on. Joe Mixon over 100. Derrick Henry over 100. I mean, easily, too. I believe all 6 may have cashed the Lions. Bucky Irving had 70. Kyron Williams was the only one I wasn't sure of. I didn't do a deep dive into that, but he had 76 yards rushing. His total was probably somewhere in that range, so he might have gone under. But you guys get the gist. Home running backs absolutely torched it last week. I think you'll see that more continuing this week. Like we talked about in our previous video with the Texans and the Chiefs, we took Pacheco's over. Same type of thing. I think you're going to see the home teams be able to get the running game going, especially here versus a bad rush defense in the Commanders. Gibbs is going to have an absolute field day versus this defense. So I'm expecting big things out of Jahmyr Gibbs. So love it there for our number 1 pick, guys. We got Jahmyr Gibbs over 83.5 rushing yards here for the Detroit Lions, minus 113 odds on FanDuel. Okay, and at number 2, this one's not one I would typically do. But we're going Jaden Daniels over 55.5 rushing yards here for the Washington Commanders, minus 110 odds on MGM. This is a pretty fat line for a quarterback rushing line. But I think Jaden Daniels, I honestly think he's going to have to get this. And I think he is going to go after this in this game. We saw him carry the ball 13 times last week versus the Bucs. Just 36 yards, but 13 carries is really what I'm focused on here. The Lions, if there's one thing that I've noticed about their defense on the season, they could be a little bit overzealous sometimes. They could be a little too pursuit happy and miss the quarterback. And running quarterbacks have had a good time versus the Lions this year. Lions allowing the 4th most rushing yards to quarterbacks. And I've witnessed a lot of this being a Lions fan. Josh Allen, 11 carries, 68 yards. Baker Mayfield had some decisive carries to win that game for the Bucs. So the 2 games the Lions actually lost were against very mobile quarterbacks. That is definitely something that concerns me in this game, but I don't think it'll have a I don't think it'll dictate the outcome necessarily in this one. I think the Lions' offense is going to dominate. But I think Daniels here is going to hit his rushing yards. I think he's going to run the ball, and he's going to run it pretty well. Like I said, this this is the one thing I'm looking for the Commanders to do. Negative game script should see Daniels dropping back to pass, scrambling, doing whatever he's got to do to try to keep his team in the game. So I do think he's going to run the football. And this guy, if you haven't seen him run, he runs a lot. It's very similar to like a Lamar Jackson type of thing. They have designed runs for him, so on and so forth. We saw him post 120 rushing yards versus the Falcons. The man has it in him. So he could definitely get this done. And like I said, just from watching the Lions, I think this is where the breakdown is going to be for them when they do break down on defense. Daniel's going to get some room to run, and he can get some big carries on this defense. For a defense that still isn't quite 100% healthy, I think Daniel's going to be able to take advantage of that, and could see him get some big numbers here on the ground. So, love it there for our number 2 pick, guys. We got Jaden Daniels over 55.5 rushing yards here for the Washington Commanders, minus 110 odds on MGM. Okay, and finally at number 3, guys, we're going Detroit Lions, minus 8.5 spread, minus 112 odds on DraftKings. A lot of the books actually have this at 9.5, so if you have DraftKings, make sure you guys take it on there. You'll get your best value on DraftKings at the moment. Guys, the biggest things I'm a Lions fan, so I know you're like, oh, this guy, that's a homer pick. No, I think, despite what I said about Daniels getting his rushing yards, which I do think he will, I think this Commanders defense is really going to struggle. And when I say really struggle, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions don't punt it at all in this game. The biggest problem I'm seeing with the Commanders is they're on a super short week, is what I call it. 2 days of no rest. They played on Monday night, now they're playing on Saturday. So if you have a normal Sunday to Sunday, you'd have the 7 days, now they're at 5. That's a big deal. I think 5, I would say 1 day wouldn't be as big of a deal. 2 days is kind of a big deal. Playing on Monday and then playing on Saturday, I think that's going to make a big difference here. Commanders just aren't going to be as well prepared for this Lions team. And I think they're really going to struggle in this game, especially on defense, to keep up with the Lions. Like I said, I think the Lions are going to run all over them and have a lot more consistency offensively. It's going to lead to them pulling away in the second half of this game. I think the Lions obviously getting healthier with a couple weeks off, I think was huge for their defense. They obviously get Montgomery back. Their defense is getting a little bit healthier now too. Anzalone is back. He should be at full strength for this game as well. And I think we're going to see more of that Lions team that we saw in that 8-game stretch between Seattle and the Colts. So from the time they played the Seahawks early on in the season to the time they played the Colts, I'm seeing this group of guys, they won by an average of 21 points per game during that 8-game stretch, including those games. So I think we'll see a return to form on that. They're at home. This place is going to be absolutely crazy for this playoff game. A lot of anticipation here around Detroit. And I think they're going to absolutely blitz the Commanders in this game. Like I said, they're a lot healthier, and this team's just going to be ready to go. And finally, they had a break and able to get healthy, which was huge for this team. So, love it there, guys, for number 3 pick. We're going Detroit Lions, minus 8.5 spread here versus the Washington Commanders, minus 112 odds on DraftKings. All right, guys, now it's time for us to make way for the same game parlay. So, we're going to risk a quarter unit on this. We're going to have some fun. I will say, this isn't something I would dump a lot on, but I like this for a quarter unit. You got Terry McLaurin, anytime touchdown scorer. He scored in 6 of the last 7 games. And if the Commanders are going to be anywhere type of keeping this game competitive, obviously McLaurin's going to have to get in the end zone. He really is pretty much Daniel's target, especially in the red zone. So I do think Washington's going to score a couple times. I still think the Lions are going to cover because they're going to score infinitely offensively. But I do think McLaurin gets one in here. I do like him to score, so that's my first leg there. We got Amon-Ra St. Brown over 6.5 receptions. Obviously, Jared Goff's most trusted guy in the playoffs. I expect him to get a lot of looks and a lot of receptions in this game. And he's going to be pretty high volume as well. And Sam Laporta, anytime touchdown. We've seen him score touchdowns in 6 of the last 12 games. So he's obviously picked it up as well here for Detroit. And positionally, it is actually a good matchup for him here versus Washington, who allows a good amount of touchdowns here to tight end. So I think I like it. I like the odds of him being able to find the end zone. So that's our same game parlay, guys. Those are our 3 legs plus 820, 1/4 unit to win over 2 units. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our picks. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help me out. Check out our other NFL video for Texans and Chiefs. I'll have that pinned here at the end. You guys can check that out. We have, between these 2 videos, we have 6 plays and 2 same-game parlays. Basically, the structure of each video is about the same. So that's what you guys can expect if you guys check out the other video. But outside of that, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the support. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.